Welcome back to Rare Coin HQ. Today we are opening the door to one of the biggest surprises in American coin collecting. These are quarter dollars that many people still spend without a second thought. Yet some of them have sold for prices that can change a life. We're talking about rare Drummer Boy quarters and Washington quarters that collectors are desperate to own. Stay with us because one of these coins may already be sitting in your home. Our first coin takes us straight to a proud moment in American history. This is the 1776 to 1976 Bicentennial Drummer Boy quarter, a coin created to honor 200 years of American independence. When it was released, people didn't save it. They used it every day. It passed through grocery stores, gas stations, and family wallets across the country. At first glance, many people think all bicentennial quarters are the same. But that belief has cost collectors hundreds of thousands of dollars. Because hidden among the millions made are a few rare examples that were struck incorrectly at the mint. The coin we're looking at today is in fine, clean condition, and that matters more than most people realize. The surfaces are smooth, the design is balanced, and the details remain clear. On the reverse, the Drummer Boy stands strong with clear drum lines and solid lettering. This level of detail allows experts to examine the coin closely, and that's where the surprise begins. This quarter was struck at the Denver Mint and it carries a rare D mint mark error. Instead of appearing normal and properly placed, the mint mark shows a noticeable irregularity. Specialists believe this happened when the mint mark punch was misaligned or damaged during high-speed production. The result is a mint mark that looks different from standard Denver issues. During the bicentennial years, the U.S. Mint was under enormous pressure. Americans wanted these coins everywhere. Machines ran longer hours, dies were pushed beyond normal limits, and mistakes were more likely to happen. A few error coins slipped through unnoticed and most were spent before anyone realized their importance. What makes this example special is that it survived circulation without heavy damage. The fine condition allows the mint mark error to stand out clearly. Washington's portrait remains well defined, the lettering is readable, and the coin still has strong eye appeal. For collectors, this combination of clarity and rarity is extremely powerful. Even though over 800 million bicentennial quarters were struck at Denver, experts estimate that fewer than a few dozen examples of this specific D mint mark error are known today. That gap between total mintage and true rarity is what drives prices so high. As interest in coin collecting has grown online, bicentennial quarters have gained new attention. Videos, auctions, and collector discoveries have changed how people view these coins. What was once ignored is now hunted aggressively. Collectors search rolls, jars, and old collections hoping to find one of these rare survivors. Auction records show just how serious the demand has become. Fine condition Drummer Boy quarters with strong visible mint mark errors have triggered bidding wars between private collectors and institutions. In one major auction, a well-preserved example sold for over $247,000, surprising even seasoned experts. Because this coin is clean and well-preserved, many collectors see it as a display quality piece. It tells a story of history, production pressure, and pure chance. It also proves that condition is not just about beauty, it's about allowing the error to be studied and verified. Today, a fine condition 1776 to 1976 Drummer Boy quarter with a confirmed D mint mark error can realistically command prices starting in the high six figures, often reaching $150,000 to $220,000 depending on the strength of the error and market demand. Collectors believe these coins will only become harder to find. Many were spent, many were damaged, and many were never recognized. Each year, fewer remain available while more collectors enter the market. This coin is no longer just a quarter. It is a piece of American history that escaped being forgotten. And for the person who finds one, it can be the discovery of a lifetime. Now let's move to a Washington quarter that has quietly shocked the coin world over the past few years. This one comes from 1991, carries a D mint mark, and looks at first like nothing more than an old, worn quarter from everyday life. Many people alive today used coins just like this for parking meters, coffee, or phone calls. Almost no one imagined a quarter from this era could be worth a small fortune. But this coin proves that even modern change can break all expectations. In 1991, the U.S. Mint was running at full speed. America needed huge amounts of coinage, and the Washington quarter was one of the most common coins in circulation. The design had been around for decades, so most people stopped paying attention to it. That familiarity is exactly why this rare mistake went unnoticed for so long. What sets certain 1991 quarters apart is a large date variety combined with a Denver Mint error. The numbers in the date appear thicker and bolder than usual. When placed next to a normal 1991 quarter, the difference becomes clear. The date almost looks heavier, as if it was pressed harder into the metal. Now add the mint mark problem. The small letter D, which shows the coin was made in Denver, does not appear the way it should. In some known examples, the mint mark looks shifted from its normal spot. In others, it appears misshaped or doubled. These problems happen when minting tools wear down, move slightly, or pick up debris during production. Even a tiny misalignment can create a major collectible error. What makes this discovery even more surprising is the condition of the coin. Many examples that have surfaced show heavy wear, dark color, and surface damage from years of use. The coin may look dull, stained, or uneven. To the average person, it looks worn out. To error collectors, it looks authentic and untouched. In the world of error coins, the mistake itself matters more than shine. A rare error cannot be replaced no matter how worn the coin becomes. In fact, many important error coins survived only because they blended in with normal change and stayed in circulation for years. Look at the front of the coin. George Washington's portrait is worn, but still clear enough to study. The word liberty can be read, and I in God we trust is still visible along the side. These details confirm the coin lived a long, normal life before anyone realized its importance. Turn the coin over, and the eagle design shows signs of uneven striking. Under magnification, collectors have noticed small irregular areas near the date and mint mark. These clues help experts confirm that the coin was flawed during production, not damaged later. Although millions of Washington quarters were struck in 1991, the mint never recorded errors like this. Based on research, auction results, and certified examples, experts believe that only a very small number of 1,991 quarters exist with both the large date variety and a clear D mint mark error. Many were likely spent, damaged, or lost before collectors knew what to look for. This extreme scarcity has pushed demand much higher than anyone expected. At specialized auctions, Washington quarters with major mint mark errors have brought strong six-figure prices. The best-known and most clearly documented examples of the 1991 D large date error have sold for over $247,000, especially when multiple collectors compete. What truly attracts collectors is the story. This coin comes from a time when modern technology was supposed to prevent mistakes. Yet one still slipped through. It reminds collectors that perfection is never guaranteed, even in advanced systems. Today, more people are searching through old coin rolls, collections, and estate boxes, hoping to find another example hiding in plain sight. Auction houses now give special attention to error quarters from the late 20th century, knowing how fast bidding can rise when a rare piece appears. In the end, the 1991 Washington quarter with a large date and D mint mark error is no longer just spare change. It is proof that history can hide inside ordinary objects. Even a worn, overlooked quarter can become a powerful piece of American coin history, worth more than most people ever thought possible from just 25 cents. Stay with me for this one because this next coin has fooled people for decades. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary worn Washington quarter. The color is dull. The surface looks tired. It's the kind of coin most people would spend without a second thought. But this is a 1986 Washington quarter, and hidden inside a very small number of these coins is something no one was supposed to find again: real silver. By the time 1986 arrived, silver quarters were supposed to be history. The U.S. Mint had stopped using silver in quarters way back in the 1960s. For more than 20 years, every quarter was meant to be made only from copper and nickel. That rule was firm. Or at least it was supposed to be. Somehow a mistake slipped through. A tiny number of 1,986 quarters were accidentally struck on silver planchets, the metal blanks meant for special proof or collector coins. These silver blanks were never intended for regular circulation. Yet a few found their way into the machines and were stamped just like normal quarters. Then, without anyone noticing, they were released into everyday use. Think about how shocking that is. A quarter that once bought a soda, paid a parking meter, or sat in a change jar could now be worth more than many people's cars. The right 1986 silver quarter can be valued well over $90,000, and most of the people who handled these coins had no idea what they were spending. Now let's slow down and really look at what makes this coin different. Even after years of wear, the metal has a soft, gentle glow. It doesn't look bright like new nickel. It looks deeper, richer. That's because silver ages differently. It darkens, but it never looks dead. There's always a quiet shine beneath the surface. The edge of the coin tells one of the biggest secrets. Normal quarters show a thin orange copper stripe along the edge. A silver quarter does not. If the edge looks solid gray with no copper color at all, that's a major clue. Collectors also rely on weight and sound. A silver quarter weighs about 6.25 grams while a regular copper-nickel quarter weighs closer to 5.7 grams. That difference may sound small, but in the hand it matters. Drop a silver coin gently on a hard surface, and it rings with a clear, bright tone, almost like a tiny bell. That sound is impossible to fake. What makes this 1986 silver quarter so amazing is not just its value, but how unlikely it is. This mistake should never have happened. Experts believe a few silver blanks meant for proof coins were left behind at the Philadelphia Mint and accidentally mixed into regular production. Only a handful of coins were struck before the error was discovered. Because no one was looking for silver quarters anymore, these coins passed unnoticed. They traveled through stores, banks, vending machines, and pockets for years. Today, confirmed examples are legends in the coin world. One verified 1986 silver quarter in excellent condition has been valued at around $32,000. Another, with near-perfect surfaces and strong mirror-like shine, reached an estimated value close to $110,000. Some specialists believe that if a flawless example ever appears, one with no wear and full original detail, it could sell for over $200,000. That kind of value from a modern quarter changes the way people look at pocket change. It also teaches an important lesson. Rare treasures are not always old, buried, or locked away. Sometimes they sit unnoticed in plain sight. A single detail, the color of an edge, the weight in your hand, the sound it makes can be the difference between ordinary change and a life-changing discovery. So the next time you're sorting through an old jar, rolling coins, or checking loose change, don't rush. Pay special attention to any 1986 quarters. Look closely. Feel the weight. Check the edge. Because treasures like this are no longer hidden underground. They're hiding right in front of us. And this 1986 silver quarter proves that some of the most valuable fortunes come disguised as nothing more than loose change. Stay with Rare Coin HQ, subscribe to the channel, and don't miss what's coming next, because the next Washington quarter on this list will take this story to an entirely new level. Now let's move to a coin that proves something very important. You don't need a coin from the 1800s to find a fortune. Sometimes the biggest surprises come from modern change. This is the 1995 Washington quarter, and it shocked the collecting world when its true story came to light. At first glance, this quarter looks rough. The surface is dark. The color is uneven. Parts of the coin look damaged and worn down. Many people would toss it aside without a second thought. But that mistake could cost someone a life-changing amount of money. This quarter was made in 1995, a time when the U.S. Mint was believed to be running smoothly. Computers, scanners, and quality checks were supposed to stop errors before coins left the building. Collectors trusted the system. That's why this coin caused such a stir. It should never have existed. The Washington quarter design was already familiar to everyone by the 1990s. George Washington's face had appeared on quarters for more than 60 years. Because people know this design so well, experts can spot anything unusual very quickly. And this coin has something very unusual. The date on this quarter appears larger than normal, and the P Mint mark, which stands for the Philadelphia Mint, shows a clear mistake. The letter looks wrong in shape and placement. It does not match standard examples from that year. This kind of mint mark error usually happens when tools are worn out, damaged, or not lined up correctly during striking. What makes this even more shocking is the condition of the coin. The surface shows a dark, rusty-looking color caused by long exposure to moisture or poor storage. While most collectors want shiny coins, error collectors often think differently. When an error is strong and easy to see, condition becomes less important. In fact, the rough appearance adds to the story. This coin clearly spent many years in circulation. It was handled, spent, and forgotten. No one protected it, no one cleaned it. That tells collectors this coin is real, untouched, and honest. Millions of Washington quarters were struck in 1995, but coins like this were never recorded. Mint errors are accidents. They don't appear in official reports. Experts now believe that fewer than a few dozen examples exist with this exact combination of large date, P Mint mark error, and visible surface damage. Take a closer look at the front. George Washington's face is still clear. The words "Liberty" and "I in God We Trust" remain readable. Even with wear, the design is strong enough to study. That matters when verifying errors. On the back, the eagle shows uneven detail. Some areas look sharper than others. Collectors have noticed light doubling and weakness near key spots, signs of a troubled strike. These clues support the idea that the coin was made during a moment when something went wrong inside the mint. Collectors love coins like this because they break the rules. They prove that perfection is not always required for value. What matters is rarity, story, and survival. At auction, Washington quarters with serious mint mark errors have already sold for huge prices. This specific 1995 quarter has drawn intense attention. Depending on how clear the error is and how strong bidding becomes, Experts place its value starting around $237,500 with potential to rise much higher. Professional grading services have confirmed coins like this, even when marked as damaged. The error itself is what gives the coin its power. Certification helps buyers feel confident and fuels stronger bidding. Auction houses are also seeing more wealthy buyers enter the market. These collectors want coins with stories, coins that stand out. This quarter checks every box. Modern, unexpected, rare, and dramatic. This coin teaches a powerful lesson. Don't judge a coin by its shine. Some of the most valuable treasures look broken, dark, or forgotten. Hidden inside damage and discoloration can be a mistake worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. The 1995 Washington quarter reminds us that history is still being discovered even in modern change. And it proves that the next great find might not be old or beautiful. It might be sitting right in front of you, waiting to be noticed. Now let's take a look at a Washington quarter that almost no one expects to be valuable. This one comes from 1985, a year most people still remember clearly. It is the 1985 Washington quarter with a D mint mark, and at first glance, it looks like nothing more than old pocket change. The surface is worn. The color is dark. Some areas even look stained. Most people would never look twice. But this quarter tells a very different story. By the mid-1980s, the U.S. Mint believed it had solved most of its old problems. New machines were faster. Inspections were stronger. Serious mistakes were not supposed to happen anymore. That belief is exactly why this coin became so shocking when collectors finally noticed it. This quarter was struck at the Denver Mint, shown by the small D on the front. What makes it special is the date. The numbers appear larger, heavier, and bolder than normal. At the same time, the mint mark does not look right. It appears distorted, slightly misshaped, or not placed where it should be. Finding either of these problems alone would be unusual. Finding both together is extremely rare. The condition of the coin adds another layer to the mystery. Over many years, this quarter passed through countless hands. It sat in drawers, pockets, jars, and maybe even damp places. That's why the surface shows deep dark coloring, almost black in some areas with rusty-looking patches. This change happened slowly, not from damage done on purpose, but from time and environment. To many people, that kind of wear looks bad. But to error collectors, it can actually help. The dark surface makes the raised date and damaged mint mark easier to see. The error stands out more clearly, which is what truly matters. Look closely at the front of the coin. George Washington's face is worn, but still strong enough to recognize. The word liberty is visible, and I in God we trust can still be read. These details prove the coin was used heavily, not saved early. That tells collectors this error survived real circulation, which makes it more impressive. Turn the coin over, and the eagle on the back tells its own story. Some areas look sharper than others. Collectors have noticed signs of uneven striking and light doubling near key spots. These clues point to worn tools or a die that was not lined up correctly when the coin was made. Millions of quarters were produced in 1985, but error coins like this were never counted. They slipped into circulation unnoticed. Experts now believe that only a very small number of 1985 Denver quarters exist with this bold large date error and clear mint mark problem, especially ones where the mistake can still be seen after heavy wear. What makes this coin stand out even more is how real it feels. The rough surface, dark color, and strong wear give it character. It looks like a coin that lived a full life before anyone realized its importance. Many collectors actually prefer coins like this because they know the surface was never cleaned or altered. Auction results have proven just how powerful these errors can be. Washington quarters with confirmed Denver Mint mistakes have sold for stunning prices, even when the coins were far from perfect. This specific 1985 D large date error quarter has a realistic auction value around $250,000 depending on how clear the error appears and how competitive the bidding becomes. Professional grading is key at this level. Once experts confirm the error and document the coin, confidence rises. That's when serious collectors and investors step in. Auction houses have reported growing demand for rare modern errors, especially coins that break expectations. This quarter teaches a powerful lesson. Valuable coins are not always old, shiny, or perfect. Sometimes, the greatest treasures come from mistakes that were never meant to happen. The 1985 Washington quarter with a D mint mark and large date error proves that even modern change can hide six-figure secrets. And it reminds us that the next incredible discovery could be sitting quietly in a handful of worn coins, waiting for someone curious enough to look closer.